The story begins with the eerie sight of a young woman's body drifting lifelessly in the sea. We then rewind to several days earlier. Beth, arriving in Croatia for the first time, takes a taxi driven by Zane, a driver sent by her friend Kate. The two women are meeting for a short weekend getaway. Before leaving, Zane gives Beth his card, offering his help if she needs it during her stay. Kate greets Beth warmly at their upscale Airbnb, a property she secretly paid for using her ex-husband Jay's credit card. Beth thanks her friend for arranging everything and gifts her a black onyx necklace. While they hug, Kate's cheerful expression subtly fades, as though hiding something. That evening, as Beth gets ready for dinner, she video calls her husband Rob and daughter Aster. Kate pours Beth her first drink of the night and joins the call briefly before they head out. On the way, they meet Sebastian, the Airbnb's somewhat eccentric owner, who wishes Beth a pleasant stay. Over dinner, Kate deliberately orders the priciest items on the menu, aiming to burn through Jay's money. During their conversation, we learn Beth and Rob's marriage has lost its spark. Kate suggests divorce, but Beth still hopes to mend things. Mid-meal, Kate takes a heated phone call, telling the caller to stop contacting her. Moments later, the waiter informs Beth their card has been declined. When Kate returns, she admits Jay was on the phone and now knows she's been spending his money. They pay in cash and head to a nightclub in Zane's taxi. During the ride, Beth learns Zane is a Syrian refugee who fled the war. Inside the club, Kate flirts with two men, intending to bring them back to the Airbnb. Beth, loyal to her marriage, declines, but Kate insists she loosen up. The men buy them drinks, and the rest of the night becomes a blur for Beth. She wakes up the next morning in her bed with no memory of what happened and no sign of Kate. Her friend's dress is draped over a bench, the jacuzzi outside still running. Broken glass and blood on the floor deepen her worry. Beth spends the morning trying to call Kate with no luck, eventually confiding in Rob. He dismisses her concern, suggesting Kate might just be off somewhere. Beth questions Sebastian, but instead of offering help, he demands extra payment for the two men who stayed over. Alarmed, Beth goes to the police. Officer Povich mocks her, suggesting Kate probably left with other men. Officer Kovich, however, seems more empathetic, but Povich insists on handling the case, claiming it's too soon to file a missing person report. Frustrated, Beth calls Zane and explains the situation. He drives her back to the club to ask around. The bartender denies seeing her or the men, but under pressure from Zane, admits the men, Mateo and Luca, are escorts who frequent the club. Beth suspects Kate hired them to spice up the night. Later, Rob again tells Beth that this is typical Kate behavior, but Beth remains convinced something is wrong. She cancels her flight and vows to stay until she finds her friend. Searching online, she locates the escort's social media profiles and asks Zane to set up a meeting. While waiting, Beth and Zane talk more about their lives. Beth shares how she met Rob through Kate, and Zane reveals his wife was killed in the war. When the escorts arrive, they instantly recognize Beth and try to run. Zane catches one, who admits Kate hired them, but insists he doesn't know where she is. He fled because he'd stolen her bag that night. Beth suspects she may have been drugged, but the escort denies it. Beth retrieves Kate's bag and phone from a pawn shop, still believing her drink was spiked. Zane suggests maybe Kate drugged her, but Beth refuses to believe her friend would do such a thing. Returning to the police, she files another missing person report with Kovich, avoiding any mention of Zane to protect his visa status. Kovich reprimands Povich for ignoring the case and orders him to run the escort's names. She also questions Beth about the luxury bag she recovered. Beth lies, saying she threatened the escort into returning it. Kovich raises the possibility Beth was assaulted and orders a medical exam, with results due the next day. Desperate for leads, Beth contacts Jay, who says Kate often disappears like this. Strangely, he claims he hasn't spoken to her recently, contradicting Kate's supposed call to him the night of their dinner. Jay insists all communication between them has been through lawyers. Returning to the Airbnb, Beth finds Sebastian packing her belongings because her booking has ended. Concerned for her safety, he offers her a smaller room in his own home for a lower price, which she accepts. After charging Kate's dead phone, Beth falls asleep. In the middle of the night, she wakes to find the phone locked with facial recognition. As Beth steps out of her room, she once again crosses paths with Sebastian, whose strange and unsettling demeanor hasn't changed. He casually mentions that he's a composer and even has a recording studio in the house. He invites her to dinner, but Beth, focused on finding Kate, plans to leave with Zane's help. Before she can head out, however, she's unexpectedly met by Rob, who's flown in from London after being unable to reach her for a day. With Zane now gone, Beth and Rob get into a heated argument, Rob criticizing her for trusting a taxi driver. But when he sees how shaken she is, his tone softens and he listens to the whole story. Their tense conversation is interrupted by a phone call from the police, news that hits Beth like a punch to the gut. Kate's body has been found in the ocean. At the morgue, Beth breaks down as she confirms it's her friend. The authorities say they'll need an autopsy before determining whether her death was an accident or murder. The next morning, Rob admits he regrets not being kinder to Kate, even if he found her irritating, and offers to stay longer. Beth insists he return to London to care for their daughter while she remains to see things through. A day later, the autopsy confirms Kate was murdered. Tearfully, Beth convinces Officer Povich to let her say goodbye in private. While he waits outside, she unlocks Kate's phone with the facial recognition feature and hides in the bathroom to search for evidence. She finds numerous missed calls from a contact named Handyman and is stunned when Rob's voice greets her in the voicemail. Going through the texts, Beth learns Rob and Kate had been romantically involved for months. The last messages show Kate pressuring Rob to leave Beth, followed by a sudden demand that he stop contacting her. Her shock is cut short when Povich enters unexpectedly, causing her to drop the phone and crack the screen. Back at the station, Officer Kovich informs her that both she and Kate had high levels of illegal substances in their systems. The escorts had been questioned and cleared. They claimed they didn't use drugs in their work and had airtight alibis. Witnesses at the club reported seeing Beth and Kate arguing, which Beth denies, though her memory isn't entirely clear. The inconsistencies in her story raise suspicion, and the police bar her from leaving Croatia until her statements are verified. Povich drives her back, confiscates her passport, and leaves Sebastian with his card. Seeking clarity, Beth calls Jay and bluntly asks if he knew about the affair. To her surprise, he did, but never told her because she was pregnant at the time. The betrayal begins to sink in. She later opens up to Zane, sharing her belief that Kate may have drugged her to sabotage her marriage and frame her for infidelity. After an emotional conversation, Beth calls Rob to confront him. Rob pleads for forgiveness, claiming the fling meant nothing, but Beth realizes that if the police knew about the affair, it could be used as a motive to link her to Kate's murder. Her fears are confirmed when Kovich shows up to arrest her. Things worsen when the police reveal that Zane is part of an Albanian gang tied to human trafficking, and they suspect he killed Kate on Beth's orders because of Rob's affair. Beth is stunned, unable to believe Zane could be involved. Her lawyer secures her temporary release due to lack of evidence. Returning home, Beth is startled to find Zane in her room. Sebastian let him in. Zane explains that police released him because records showed he was working all night during the murder. He also tells her about saving a boy's life back home and how the boy's father, linked to a smuggling ring, helped him flee the country, but insists he doesn't work for the gang. Later, Beth's mind keeps circling back to how the police found out about Rob's affair. She recalls Povich giving Sebastian his card. Searching the house, she finds a hidden camera inside a mirror, likely used to record her private conversations. When Sebastian leaves, she steals his studio keys and sneaks inside. To her horror, she discovers multiple monitors showing footage from cameras all over the property, even in the bathrooms. Reviewing the videos, Beth finally sees what happened the night Kate died. Drunk and unable to move, Beth was placed in bed by Kate, who then went to the balcony with the two escorts. While distracted, one of them stole Kate's bag and left. Kate chased after them, injuring her foot on broken glass. She returned later in a different car, yelling at someone before heading back out. Sebastian suddenly walks in, startling Beth. He claims the cameras are for security, but she doesn't believe him. When he tries to erase the footage, she fights back, knocking him out briefly and fleeing with his keys. Outside, she meets Zane, and together they track down the taxi driver from the footage. The driver says he took Kate to the police station after she lost the men she was chasing. This confuses Beth. No theft report was filed. She recalls Povich also failing to file her earlier report. Her suspicions spike when she realizes Povich's car is the same one that dropped Kate off that night. Before she can act, her face appears on the news as a murder suspect, prompting someone to alert the police. She and Zane hide in an abandoned building. While Zane distracts the officers, Beth slips away to call her lawyer, but Povich spots her and chases her to a rooftop, where he arrests her. Beth accuses him of killing Kate after she rejected him. He tries to assault her, but Kovich intervenes, leading to Povich's fatal fall from the roof. Days later, Kovic apologizes to Beth after reviewing CCTV footage. It shows Povich dropping Kate at the apartment and later shoving her into the sea. The autopsy revealed he'd struck her head before dumping her alive into the water. Povich had a history of assault allegations from sex workers, which he avoided by threatening them, eventually being reassigned to the tourist division. Police also found drugs in the escort's apartment, confirming they did drug women to rob them. With her passport returned, Beth shares a final emotional hug with Zane, thanking him for his loyalty and kindness. A few days go by, and Beth continues to stay in touch with Zane, who has grown into her closest confidant. Meanwhile, her relationship with Rob is officially over, though Rob is eager to win her back. Beth, however, refuses to risk getting hurt again. One day, while dropping Aster off at Rob's place, Beth searches for her car keys and makes a disturbing discovery. Tucked inside Rob's pocket is a black onyx stone identical to the ones from Kate's necklace. The sight sends a chill through her, and suspicion takes hold. She quickly calls Officer Kovic, ready to share everything she's uncovered. Before she can finish, Rob interrupts. Sensing something is wrong, Beth decides to confront him directly about Kate's death. At first, Rob denies any involvement, but under pressure, he admits it was an accident. He explains that he had flown to Croatia to see Kate after she stopped returning his calls, worried she might expose their affair. Rob claims Kate had professed her love for him and asked him to leave Beth, but he insists he only wanted to reason with her. As Rob's version unfolds, the truth is revealed in flashbacks. Kate had actually been planning to end their relationship and confess everything to Beth, something Rob couldn't accept. In a moment of uncontrolled anger, he struck her, breaking her necklace. The blow caused Kate to fall onto the rocks, hit her head and tumble into the water. Rob pleads with Beth to keep the truth hidden since the case has already been closed, but unbeknownst to him, Officer Kovic has been listening to their entire conversation over the phone. When Rob's frustration turns into aggression toward Beth, she fights back, delivering a sharp kick to his groin and stopping him cold. In the final moments, Beth leaves the house with Aster, heading for safety as police sirens approach. Officers arrive to arrest Rob for Kate's murder.